Hi, I'm Mary, a librarian and book reviewer with a focus on stories written for kids, tweens, and teens. Today, I get to share with you this book called Strength of the Mountains, an unforgettable wilderness survival adventure written by Gregory O. Smith. What started out as a fun family adventure suddenly turns into a quest for survival for 22-year-old Matt. He thought it would be super fun for his family to go on an adventure into the mountains on a hot air balloon. But Matt's the only one in the hot air balloon when it suddenly escapes its tether, and Matt must figure out how to get back to solid ground all by himself. Once he finally does, he finds himself stranded in the mountains with only the food that is in the basket and everything that he has in his own head. So he has to figure out how to survive, finding shelter, making sure that he has enough food and safety, and then figure out how to get off the mountain and back to civilization. So as he goes around his business and figuring out exactly how he's going to get home, a plane suddenly crash lands near his site of refuge, and two more characters are added to the mix. So now that it's gone from a solo adventure to a group one, everyone must work together in order to find their own way to freedom. This story is great for fans of Hatchet, for Boy Scouts especially, and for anyone with a Christian upbringing. So Matt himself is spending a lot of time figuring out exactly how to survive in this wilderness landscape. He takes a lot of time explaining the tools that he's using, tracking different animals, making sure that his food will sustain him for his journey, and then focusing on his needs in order of priority. Once the plane crash lands, you have an added level of need and urgency added to the mix, and that is where you kind of focus more on the survival element as far as stopping bleeding and making sure that humans are safe and okay. So for readers who are into that level of detail of the life in the mountains, especially away from civilization with no contact with a phone or anything else, this book really gets into that nitty-gritty for readers. The main characters are in their 20s, but it is a good fit for young adults really of any age in that bracket. So the story is written in a wholesome manner, and the sentences and chapters themselves are not super complicated or difficult to connect with. Also, interestingly, if you've ever been in a hot air balloon, you'll recognize kind of the feeling of liftoff, and this book mirrors that in its design. So you have a very brief introduction to the main characters in Matt's world, and suddenly you're launched into his adventure. So there's not a huge amount of preamble, you're launched right into the action. So for readers who are into stories of survival, friendship, teamwork, and that kind of thing, this is a really good fit. And if it sounds like a good fit for you, I hope you look for it at your favorite bookstore.